Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Javier Perez. You may also know me as JP2, and on today's episode, I'm going to share with you what I've been listening to all year. First of all, thank you for being here. I mean, it means the world to me that you support me and you support my channel, so please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. So, I don't really like doing tiered lists or anything like that, mostly because I don't think that music art should be classified as to best, not best, whatever it is. So instead of showing you my top five or something like that, I'm just going to show you five albums that have been released in 2023 that I feel like I have connected with the most. This is in no particular order. It's just randomly telling you what it is. So let's get started. First album that comes to mind, Periphery 5, Djent is Not a Genre. From the moment that album came out, it was my go-to. My goodness, daily. I want to say 2, maybe 3 times a day. There's just so many things happening on that album. Periphery is just amazing at being grandiose within the spec of like what progressive music is, but then also being able to remain like super heavy and put the influences of electronic music and all these other things. They mix it all so cohesively in their music. And whereas Periphery 4 was just like a brutal assault on the senses, in my opinion, this album is just like a roller coaster. It starts off heavy, it takes you through all the motions, and every time I listen to Thanks Nobo, the last song, I just sit there and I watch the entire like 2-3 minute, just synth hitting 1 to 2 notes, because it's just fantastic. This album is definitely the last album that I've gotten a hold of this year, and it's just amazing. It's by a band called Temic. The name of the album is Terror Management Theory. So this album came to me as kind of like a late recommendation from a couple people on some of the music groups that I'm a part of in Facebook. Everybody was mentioning it as, oh, this is album of the year. Oh, this is album of the year. And I had never even heard of the band. I know the guitarist is Eric Gillette. The other names in the band, they don't really come to mind right away. But my goodness, really, really solid album also, as far as like the technical aspect of what you expect of when it comes to progressive metal music. The syncopation, not the time signatures, but the tempo changes coming up and down, the synths and the guitars doing the combined melodies. Like there's a little bit of like some Dream Theater in there that I can hear. There's a little bit of Haken also that I can hear in there. I guess that would be the best description that I could give you. If you put Dream Theater and Haken and you throw them in a blender, this is probably the album that comes out. I think it's amazing. Up next is Let the Truth Speak by Earthside. I have been waiting on Earthside's new album forever. When their first album came out in 2015, to me, it just blew my mind. There's so many things that I loved about it. The different rosters, the diverse roster of singers that they had, and how cinematic the music felt. So I was hoping that the new album would be the same, and it did not disappoint whatsoever. It feels like a very solid continuation of the style that they brought in the first album. However, it definitely sounds more mature. The themes feel a lot more ingrained. The lyrical content feels a little bit. It definitely feels more up to date. The roster of singers is incredible. I'm actually super impressed with the singer from Fire from the Gods. Incredible. Just so many things. I really love how cinematic they can make the music feel. It's just like you're listening to some heavy metal soundtrack to like the greatest action or science fiction film ever. And I know the album hasn't been out for nothing more than a few months, but it's been nonstop on my iPad since day one. Then we have War of Being by Tesseract. Tesseract is probably a top 10 band for me, not just current bands, but overall. I fell in love with their sound. I fell in love with the vocal melody, everything. It just sounded so amazing the first time that I got hooked from the beginning. They actually, this album is their first full album in a while. And I remember the previous album, I saw them in concert back in Baltimore, and thinking how the album sounded better, like their live performance sounded better than the album. And I was hoping that the new album would have that it just sounded like there's a live performance going on. And it's exactly that. It just feels raw, but at the same time, it's very, very grand. It's a concept album that it's tied to a video game. Like, you would have to go to their website and go and read all of that stuff. I'm not going to go into those details. But it's a really, really, really big concept-wise. From beginning to end, you feel like you're listening to one story. And Daniel Tompkins' vocals on this album is just incredible. It's really hard for me to find 5, maybe 3 even current singers that I like more than him. He's just fantastic. I like his solo stuff, and this album specifically, when the first single came out, which was War of Being, like, I remember listening to it, and the song went on for like, I think 11 minutes. It's like, if the album is half as good as this song, the album is going to be incredible. And the last album that I'm going to present to you is the self-titled album by Oseal. The way they describe themselves is they are a 5-piece progressive metal band from Finland. And that's a very incredibly accurate, just yet kind of like doesn't tell the whole story description. This album was a recommendation by Cody from Nordic Hamster. He said, like, I feel like this is the type of album that if you had full reign of every single brain cell in your head, this is what you would write. And yeah, like, I feel it. From the beginning of the album, I want to say 20-30 seconds into the first song, I was like, I am going to enjoy this. I knew before the first drum hit went down that I was going to enjoy the album. It's incredible. There's some guest appearances. I know for a fact there's one by Pliny in one of the songs, and it's just their mixture of just like traditional like Celtic music and the progressive metal and all the different sounds that they bring in with the synths and all of that. Just super talented musicians. Incredible album. And there you have it. That's the 5 albums that I want to say I have connected with the most this year. I showed you mine, so why don't you go ahead and tell me yours in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and you want to see more videos like this one, then don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And until next time.